Everyone okay? Fair enough? Good. So next session is mine, right? So, and I'm not going to talk about too much of tech stuff. I will try my best to bore you with more of a theory. Let's see how it goes. And Neha was talking about the legacy, SSIS, right? Actually, I started development, I think even before when the SQL Server 6.5 came, right? And that was the first time I think it introduced the replication services, right? We used to have two servers, one in India, one in US, and our job was to replicate or to merge both the data, right? That's how it, but I agree, I think people call them as a legacy now, right? So I have stopped doing it. So this is me, and, oh, sorry, again the same slide, right? I told you that we are going to repeat it again and again. And I intentionally keep my session just before the lunch so that people are more focused towards the lunch rather than my session, right? And even in case if I bluff, so that can make note, right? So what we are going to do is, the session is about the strategy part of it, right? And all of us are going to work as in a smaller group to create a strategy. The strategy for the AI transformation. That's what we are going to do. And for that, what I have is, I have a problem statement for you. The problem statement is from this company called as a Fresh Mart Grocer. Right? I know it may take weeks or months to create a strategy, right? But we will get maybe 10 minutes to do it, right? How you are going to do it is you have to form small teams. And here is in a QR code, you scan it, it will redirect to your URL, which has its problem statement. If you need blank papers, we have. If you need pens, we have. Thanks to Vikas, Tulsi, and team for arranging all these, right? Go through. So let's see how good you are. You have to form maybe bigger team, 5 between. Yeah. Let's see what you do. Quickly, you have just 10 minutes. Very short problem statement, not so big. I understand maybe within 10-15 minutes we can't do the best job, but come up with whatever you can. What in case if you have your own consulting agency and you have to solve this for Fresh Mart Grocer? What? Don't trust him. He is a marketing guy.
Sanjay has put his disclaimer. Do you mind if he wants any input from me?
No, I don't.
Because I'm formally asking.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to. It's okay.
Shopping area, rather than having people going and assisting them with just
website setup,
recommendation system,
how Amazon works, set up customer cares, AI assistant, again. Setting up multiple hubs to reduce delivery time, अगर हमारा वैल्यू
Like Black Friday day, like once a week, that has to be a price price drop. And that is one
genuine feedback, out of 10 people, maybe 1 2 people will give a genuine feedback, but most of the people they simply say feedback. That plays a, so always the business looks for a detailed feedback. Only few people who has good knowledge, good patience, they will give. But it's not
It can help in getting feedback automatically without asking.
constructive feedback, again, that
Reward points is one more thing. The another thing is the choice, right? Let's say you go to
Like loyalty points. If you
that is something.
customer churn to reduce, we can give royalty points. One time you order.
Point.
loyalty points will also loyalty points is an easy giveaway because that's
I think delivery. If it's only physical store, people will not.
Come back. Good. Look at this side. So, how was it? And what did you learn? That's true. AI is very important. What did you learn? And how easy it was?
no, we understand real-time problems that we have faced as customers, and so how we can ease that, how we can try to find a solutions, optimize challenges.
Okay, good. Anyone from the back?
We have like branch it out. What are the domains?
Huh.
If you want like operational expenditure or capital expenditure on which we are spending our money and getting the revenue, or maximize the customer.
Fair enough. So the idea was not to get a perfect strategy from you, and we all know that comes before. The idea was to get into that thought process, right? If you look at it, the way I think we were talking before the session, the day start, that whenever we are talking about the AI strategy, or maybe the overall the concept of AI, it's people are actually chasing the tools. Nothing wrong with the tools. It's in a good way, right? You can definitely use those tools, but tools may not be the only thing, right? Tools may be just the first step, or maybe the bare minimum part of it. Think about it. How can you use AI to overall strategize your organization? For those who may have been part of those so-called DevOps transformation, Agile transformation, the same thing happened at that time also. Hey, we are using Jira, we are Agile. Right, or we have started using maybe some of the tools, DevOps tool, maybe Jenkins and other stuff, we are good. That may not be the right. So actually it's same thing we are getting repeated. Right, so think maybe beyond it. Right, think about using the capability of AI in overall strategy, the overall transformation of your organization, what you can do. And there is so much of it. And there are only very few who are thinking about it. Rest all are more on doing just an automation, all the operational stuff. Right? So that was the first part. The other is, and there are some challenges with the strategy part of it, and especially with the AI thing, right? And not all, I am not going to cover all of them, and definitely you may have some better one. But what I think is, the very first thing, this seems to be too much of techie. Right? And because there is a perception that AI is more about technical stuff, you may or may not have a buy-in from your business. Business says, hey, it's not our job, it's maybe engineering or the technology have to do something, POC and other stuff, and they will do it. We don't have to get it. And that's what maybe one of the key reason for the failure. If your business and technology is not aligned, it may not work. Whatever we are doing it for a business problem, right? Without it doesn't work, right? But there is another side of it also. Most of the disruptive innovation actually happens not because of the business requirement. It happens because of the technology only. And that's what is actually happening. But later on, it may get converted into the business. No one ever asks for a touch phone. No one. Right? We were happy with our keyboards and everything. Right? It was Steve Jobs who came up with, hey, why not a touch phone? And it was a technology paradigm shift. right? Same thing is actually happening here. But we have to keep in a balance, right? We don't want to spend so much of money on building a technology that we go bankrupt, right? We need an ROI out of it, right? That's the first part. The second is obviously the unclear problem statement, right? It could be two reasons. One is the problem statement is very generic. Hey, we want to use AI in HR. Hey, what do you mean by that? What will you do with that? What is the objective you are trying to achieve with that? What is the problem statement for you from the HR side? Right? Or the second could be, hey, our competitors are doing, so that's why we should also do. And that's what happens even earlier also. Right? And I always say that during my trainings and stuff, hey, you don't have to follow Scrum or maybe all those things. If it doesn't make sense to you, don't do that. There is no rule. Whatever works for you, think about your business, your problem statement. Think about your organization, your people. That may be a better approach for it. Right? Skills and the capability gap. That is there. And that may be actually linked to the tech part only. Right? If you, as an engineer, as a technology people, we are good on it. Right? But there, and I think we were discussing it, every day there is something new coming up. It has become a challenge to cope up with or maybe to match those stuff. That's why we always feel that, hey, there is something, we are always behind. Right? That also creates a problem. Right? And our CXOs, they don't want to get into it. Right? They don't want to get into the technology part of it. But if you look at maybe some of the good CXOs or CEOs, they still understand the technology. Without technology, it may not work. You have to understand technology. Hey, we have to do this POC. Once we claim it is done, then we are an AI company. That's another thing going on. And there are so many POCs going within the same organization. People are doing different things and they are keeping it to just themselves. They are not converting into more of a business solution. Hey, we are not ready yet. Right? This is again more of an excuse to maintain the status quo. Start with whatever you have. There is no one who is ready to take the ownership. Right? We will do it. I don't know how you are going to sell it, how you are going to maintain it. What would be the implication of it? Right? So all these, and there may be more, right? You can have more things to it, but these may be some of the reasons which are actually making this AI transformation a bit tricky. Right? And if you search on Google, there are all these big 4 consulting companies and other ones who are coming up with their frameworks, right, or way of doing it. And that's what actually I am also experimenting, right? I have gone through those frameworks, and I'm trying to come up with my own. May not be as good as theirs, but trying to be as simple as we can, right? So the way it is, what I thought maybe it could have maybe 5 components to it, right? So, and these are maybe remain standard, right? If you look at any transformation, these may be there. The very first thing is you have to align everyone strategically. You should have to have a sponsorship from your executives. They can't say that, hey, it's an engineering job or maybe the business job, they will get it done. No, you need that sponsorship from them. Opportunity, and once you have that sponsorship, then you have to figure out your business use cases. Right? And as a part of the sponsorship is actually your problem identification. It could be in terms of your customer retention, it could be your profit loss, it could be your market share, it could be your operational cost, anything. Once you have those problem statements identified, then you get into more of a creating of your business cases, the opportunity discovery. That's where you start creating your business cases, right? And you may create maybe 100 of business cases. Out of those, maybe 10% gets approved. If those 10% gets approved, then you have to work on the implementation plan of it, how you are going to do it, right? Implementation plan could be the short term, mid term, long term, right? There may be few POCs, there may be few items which will just remain in the POC. Right? Some of them may go to your production part of it. And while you are doing it, you have to build that capability within your organization. You have to train your people. right? And when I say train, one is the training part of it, second is you have to manage the overall change management part of it. How people are going to react to it, who is going to be impacted by it, right? And finally, the risk and governance part. Anything can go wrong, right? And it's not just within the organization, sometimes it may be more of an external part also, maybe some regulatory stuff, right? You don't want to be in just for the sake of AI, you don't want to get into a press with a bad name, right? And all these components, the way I worked on it is, all these components has a purpose defined, and an outcome defined, some checklist defined, right? Maybe some templates defined, right? It has some questions to be answered, right? So, and all these are actually freely available, I can share with you all, right? So the people who are going to get involved into it, right? How we are going to measure the success of each stage, right? And these are not in a sequential stage. Sometimes it may be an overlapping also. We can't say that only when we have a business case approved, only then we will start the capability development. No, you may have to do it in parallel. You can't have an implementation plan if you don't have your people ready or trained people, right? So there are different, I would say, subcomponents of it. Along with it, you have to keep I would say, a regular check on it, especially on the alignment part. There are chances that once you start, initially few months, everyone is okay. But after that, people start losing interest, right? Somebody who is actually taking care of it, right? It may be you, it may be someone in your organization. He or she has to make sure that the entire organization is aligned with that transformation. The moment you lose it, you are gone. Then it becomes just your problem statement. Right? So again, different tools you can use, maybe in a spider chart within all those stuff. It could be just 0 and 1. Don't put in a 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. No. Right? We are in a digital industry, so it's 0 or 1, whether we are aligned or not aligned. Very clear. Right? Now, once you have a strategically aligned, then comes the opportunity part, the business case. Right? So again, rather than asking how can we use AI, we should ask, hey, what value or what business problem we are going to solve with AI, right? And once you get into it, I always say that once you start, I think somebody was saying, Neha was saying that we should love the business problem or the solution we are. The moment you actually make your people understand that, right, it actually clicks in your brain. You start looking at it in a different way. Right? It is, and we were, I think Turja was talking about the outcome based, right? Earlier it was an output based. The best example I always say that when it is an output based, hey, we have done everything. If it works, that's your luck. If it doesn't, that's not our problem. This is something similar to operation is successful, the patient is dead. We did everything as per the written agreement, but that's not the way. Right? So look at a problem statement. And when you have this problem statement, then you need a business case, right? And again, every organization having a different way of preparing those business case, right? So, have you heard about, I believe some of you, right? The lean canvas, opportunity canvas, right? All those, the business modeling canvas, it's in a single page template, right? On a similar line, why can't we use something similar for our AI business case also, right? Maybe some changes are required. For example, the very first, always start with the problem statement. The problem, right? So obviously there should be some measurement defined for it, right? The second is the customer. Your customer could be internal and external. Internal could be your sales team, operation team, right? HR team. External could be your vendors, partners, end users, right? Success metrics we have to have with the current baseline as well as how do we know that we are successful, right? Finally, the proposed solution. There could be multiple solutions to it, right? Then we have to figure out how do we know that out of those 5, the solution we selected, why we selected it. What was the criteria? Costing and ROI, right? How much we are going to spend, how much we are going to get out of it. Dependency, especially in this case, there may be too much of dependency on your data, dependency on other department, dependency on vendor. Figure them out. The data requirements, right? What kind of data do you need? Do you need structured data, unstructured data, labeled data, right? What kind of data do you need? Figure them out. Put it in the business case, right? Risk and challenges, right? I think we all, risk could be, again, risk could be internal as well as external. Risk could be even, it could be, for example, the capability of our team. We don't have skilled people, right? Release roadmap, again, maybe short term, mid term, MVP, POC, how you are going to make a release. That also goes as a part of your business case. Ethics, compliance, we all know this is required, right? That should also go as a part of your business case. And finally, the change management plan. How you are going to actually manage the overall change. How it is going to impact your organization, how it is going to impact your customer, right? And how are you going to make sure that everyone still remain engaged throughout the life cycle of it? Right? Again, I don't know how we are doing as of now, right? But my suggestion would be, don't make it in a project, hey, we have to get it done, that's it. That may not be the right way. Create in a proper business case, figure out, hey, what problem we are trying to solve and how we are going to measure the success of it. If this doesn't work, maybe come up with your own. Nothing wrong with it. Work within your team, within your organization. But come up with something so that for those who are following so-called Scrum or maybe any other framework, right? Every month or maybe on a regular basis, keep checking whether we are solving the right problem or not, right? Whether we are making progress on it or not. That will be through your outcome. Right? And success is not about delivering more and more features or maybe creating more and more tools or maybe doing more and more automation. Sometimes automation may not be required at all. Right? This may be a sample of it. I will spend 30 seconds just for you to read through. This is a sequence in which it should be filled. Right? And I was actually reading about some of the organization structure, especially those organizations who are claiming to be more of an AI based and how they are actually scaling, right? So there are different ways. I think you may have heard about it. How about creating in a small team which has a skill set of all, right? It doesn't matter what, maybe even 50 years from now, there may be new technology or the framework or new things coming up. But if we are not changing the structure of organization, it may not work. And again, don't claim me outside of this room. So for those who have gone through this DevOps or the Agile or maybe other digital transformation, if those things didn't work for you, this may also not work. Just to be clear. There is a good chance that this will not work. Right? Don't blame those frameworks of the matter. It may be the way we have been structured, the way we are functioning. That may be the reason. Right? First is you can have an AI pod, then you can create a multiple pod in one domain, which you call as a group or unit. Then you have maybe the capability network. Right? Capability network is based on the skill set you have, right? Then you may have an innovation lab where multiple people coming together and maybe doing something, maybe in a new POC, right? Then you have an organization which has a steering group, then the domain, and maybe there is a new CXO coming, right? CAIO, you may have heard about it. Chief AI Officer, right? So there are new roles coming up. I don't know an organization how many CIOs you can have, right, but that's what it is. Or maybe the CEO will be renamed as a CIO. Right? Earlier there was a line, I think Bill Gates said that we are, that every company is a technology company, or we are a technology, somebody else said that we are a technology company within a banking license. Right? Actually a bank said that. Right? We are a technology company within a banking license. Same thing may be applicable now. We are an AI company within a banking license. Right? Right, and there are different scaling model also. Right? Again, I have not worked with any of the organization. I have not spoken to any one of them, but this is what is available on internet. And there are references of it. Some of the people who work there, they have written about it, right? The centralized COE model, I think we all know about it. Decentralized, every team may have their own AI skill, right? The hybrid model, which works as a both. AI as a platform also, generally the Spotify and Uber worked it. And this actually reminds me, and if you look at these companies, especially the bottom one, right? So we, as an organization, we are always reluctant to follow or do something new. Right? We always wait, hey, let's other do it, let's other experiment it. Once they are successful, then we follow them. Right? And that's where we start calling them as, hey, this is in a Spotify model, this is in an Airbnb model. Hey, this is in a maybe the Meta model, right? Or maybe the Uber model. Hey, why can't we have maybe an Acuity model? Right? Or maybe whatever organization you are from. Come up with your own. You have not always been a follower, right? Let's be a leader. Hey, this is our model. And rest of the industry should follow us. So far, so good? I think I am done. Right, this is more of a reflection. I don't know how much AI work is going on in your organization, but whatever it is, right, just be careful, whatever you are doing. Right, read about it, think about it, maybe explore what others are doing. That may be helpful. So that's it, I believe. I was a bit quick, right? I told you now that I think this session was the only one between you and your lunch. Right, so lunch is there. Question, comment. Feeling sleepy? No? Feeling okay? Too boring? Okay, then I think we are good. What else? Oh, okay, again my promotion. So these are the different courses I offer for Scrum Master and the product. And I do offer so many courses, right? If you are interested, connect with me after the session, right? But these are the new courses. Everything, somebody was saying that if your organization or even your name doesn't include .ai, then no one is going to look at it. So that's why we are also coming up with an AI for Scrum Master, AI for product owner, everything we have an AI, and AI, right? People are always looking for tools. They are not looking for how can they use AI in a better way. They are, whenever people come to the workshop, they always look at, hey, tell us maybe 10 new tools. Okay, we will. Yeah.
Yeah, while implementing this AI strategy, how can we balance both ROI and customer experience?
ROI and customer experience. Yeah, a good one. So I think this may not be with the AI only. Okay. This is for any strategy. Right. So you have to keep a balance. I don't know, there may not be a direct answer to it, right? But it all depends on your context. It all depends on your scenario. There may be few cases where the customer experience may not matter more, right? For example, if it is there is a product which is being used by mass, then customer experience matter. If there is and it all depends on the customer also. If your customers are more of a Gen Z, they care about it, right? If your product is being used in a shop floor area, it's okay, right? So it depends on your context.